Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are talking all about the Fawn Response, what it is, how it shows up in your body, in motherhood, in relationships, and how to start taking your power back.
Exhale, Mom.
If you've ever felt like you constantly prioritize someone else's needs over yours, if saying no makes you feel uncomfortable, and if you feel guilty resting, if you feel guilty disappointing people, or like you're trying to always keep the peace so nobody gets upset with you, this video is going to hit home. The crazy thing about the Fawn Response is so many people are living in it without even realizing it. The Fawn Response is when your body learns that being loved, accepted, or safe comes from keeping everybody else comfortable. Instead of fighting, instead of running away, instead of shutting down completely, your body adapts by people pleasing. And your body learns, if I can keep everybody else okay, maybe I'll feel safe too. And honestly, this gets praised so much in society, especially as women and especially in motherhood. You get called the strong one, the dependable one, the good girl, the selfless one, the one who always shows up. And while those qualities can be beautiful, sometimes underneath them is someone who is deeply afraid of rejection, conflict, criticism, abandonment, or being perceived as difficult. And the thing about this response is it doesn't always look anxious from the outside. A lot of people in this chronic fawn response actually seem super high functioning. They're helping everyone, they're checking in, managing everything, and keeping the peace. But internally, they are exhausted. And this can show up in the body in so many different ways. Things like anxiety around setting boundaries, over-explaining yourself constantly, feeling responsible for everyone's emotions, constantly scanning the tone or energy of a room and other people, feeling guilty for having needs, and honestly struggling to even know what you want because you've spent so long adapting to everyone else. And the hardest part about this response is that eventually you can become so disconnected from yourself, disconnected from your anger, disconnected from your intuition, and disconnected from your own desires. And this is because your energy has been going outward for so long. This response shows up for me all of the time. And you wouldn't think, because I have a very dominant, overpowering personality. But I remember in one of my past relationships, I became so focused on the other person's needs. I literally lost myself through the process because I was constantly scanning and checking and making sure they were okay, completely disregarding myself. And I truly felt guilty for having needs, for wanting to be seen, for asking for help, for asking for anything. It was like I was pulling my own teeth. And through that, I slowly stopped listening to myself. I would over-explain my feelings to them and honestly start avoiding even bringing up how I was feeling because I didn't want conflict with them. And I was constantly trying to manage the energy of this relationship so nobody became upset. And on the outside, it looked like I was understanding, I was nurturing, but internally, I was anxious all the time because I felt responsible for holding everything together. And the crazy part is, I had so much awareness around the fawn response. I literally studied it and I didn't realize I was chronically in a fawn response until I started setting boundaries. Because when you've spent weeks, months, years over accommodating, over explaining, emotionally shape-shifting to keep the peace, it just starts to feel normal. But the second I started saying, actually, that doesn't work with me, or hey, I'm not available for that, or simply, no, I got pushback. And what really showed me that I was in the fawn response wasn't even the pushback itself. It was my own reaction to the pushback. Did I feel guilty? Did I want to try and fix it? Did I start over explaining? Or did I abandon my boundary to just make the other person feel comfortable again? And that's when I realized my body literally feels and thinks that boundaries are dangerous. And co-parenting can bring this up so directly, especially if you have to co-parent with someone who struggles with control, manipulation, or has narcissistic tendencies. Because the second you start setting healthy boundaries, there can be anger, pushback, guilt trips, pressure. And I really want you to hear me when I say this. Just because someone is upset with your boundary doesn't mean your boundary is wrong. And I'll say it again. Just because someone else is upset with your boundary you have set does not mean your boundary is wrong. It honestly means most of the time your boundary is working, because boundaries change access and they change the dynamics. And when you stop overextending yourself to people who benefited from the old version of you, they will notice. This shows up in motherhood too. There have been seasons where I have felt so overstimulated, so overextended, but instead of slowing down or asking for help, I would just keep pushing through, because somewhere deep down I believed being a good mom meant constantly giving. And I would feel guilty again for having needs, for taking time for myself, and even just resting. And one day something finally clicked, where I realized my body wasn't asking me to do more. It was asking me to finally feel safe enough to receive support. And I really want to pause here, because I know someone listening needs this reminder. Your kindness is beautiful. Your empathy is amazing, and your ability to love is powerful, but self-abandonment is not the same as self-love. And there can be this pendulum swing where you go from being loving and empathetic to having to go to the other side and be cold so your boundaries get respected. But healing from the Fawn Response doesn't mean going to the opposite side. It doesn't mean becoming selfish, and it doesn't mean you just stop caring about other people. It just means learning that you can care about other people without abandoning yourself in the process. Because taking your power back doesn't happen in one gigantic moment. It happens through these tiny nervous system shifts where you actively choose to respond differently to situations you're presented with. Saying what you actually feel, letting people misunderstand you sometimes, not over-explaining your boundaries, resting without earning it, and choosing yourself without spiraling in guilt afterwards. That, my love, is healing. Something else I want to touch on is that the Fawn Response is not weakness. It's actually just your body trying to protect itself in the way it knows how. But what protected you in one season of life now may be keeping you disconnected from your own truth. So if you've been feeling exhausted, resentful, anxious, or like you're disappearing inside your own life, I just want you to know that you are not broken. Your body has just learned a survival pattern, and your body can also learn safety. So in this next part of the video, I'm going to guide you through a short breathwork practice to help you reconnect to yourself, your body, your boundaries, and your own sense of safety. Because you deserve relationships where you don't have to betray yourself to feel loved. And you deserve to experience life as you, not just who you've had to become to survive. So when it comes to our breath work today, there are going to be two different types of breath we're going to be playing around with. Your intro breath is going to be specifically belly breathing. You are going to inhale and fill your belly, exhaling with a soft jaw and just letting it fall back down. A demonstration of your belly breathing would look something like this. Inhale and let it go. From there, we're going to be adding in the chest along with it. So then your breath will turn into inhale to fill the belly, inhale to fill the chest. It all comes out as one. It'll look something like this. Inhale to fill the belly, inhale to fill the chest, exhale, let it go. You can do the next one with me. Inhale, fill the belly, chest, and out. Then there will be a brief 20-second breath hold. You will hold the exhale, meaning there's going to be no air in your lungs, and you are just going to pause. If you feel the urge to breathe during that, you are more than welcome to breathe. And right after that breath hold, we're just going to go straight into chest breathing. It will look something like this. And then I will drop y'all into a restorative breath. So a little bit different, little funky, playing around with different types of breath, and it will be so good. If at any point in time you feel uncomfortable, you don't feel right, adjust your breath, adjust your body, and just come back to center. As we are breathing, when you inhale to the belly, inhale to the chest, the second you get to the capacity of your breath, meaning your lungs are all the way inflated, you let it go. So there are no pauses at the top or bottom of your breath, whether you're doing just belly breathing, belly and chest breathing, or chest breathing. all the way into the inhale, let it go. And you can think of this as like a circle. Inhale from the bottom to the top. Once you're at the top, let it go. Inhale from the bottom to the top. At the top, let it go. As always, make sure safety is your number one priority. Find yourself in a comfortable seated position, not around any water. I know I'm in my car. My car is my safe place. And it's also a representation that you can do this breath work no matter where you are. And my car is off, my steering wheel is pushed in, my seat is pushed back, so I have more than enough room and I feel very comfortable. On that note, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and close down your eyes with one hand or both resting on your belly. We're gonna start today with just a cleansing breath. So take a big inhale in and let it fall out. We're just gonna do that a couple more times at your own pace, finding your inhale and exhale. We're gonna go ahead and start with our belly breathing. So inhale, fill up your belly and let it go. Right back into your inhale and out. Continuing with that breath. Breathing down into your pelvis now. As you exhale, notice if your shoulders can soften. As you exhale, you unclench your stomach. Taking 3 more belly breaths before we transition into your belly chest breath. You do not have to perform here. 1. Just breathe. 2. 3. Inhaling now, filling your belly. Inhale, fill your chest. Exhale, let it all go. Doing that again. Inhale, belly. Inhale, chest. Exhale, let it go. Continuing with that pattern now. As you breathe, begin calling your energy back to yourself. And for these next few moments, you do not need to manage anyone else. Taking 3 more belly chest breaths before we go into our breath hold. 1. 2. Taking your deepest inhale yet. Exhale, let it go and hold your breath. What do you need? What boundary is your body asking for? Where have you been abandoning yourself? Just a few more seconds here. Now beginning breathing just into your chest. Inhale in, fill your chest, and out. And in, and out. As you are breathing and taking up space, remind yourself that your needs matter too. Other people's discomfort is not my responsibility. I can love others without abandoning myself. Feel your power, feel your body, feel yourself returning home to you. Taking 3 more chest breaths before you drop into a restorative breath. 1. 2, last breath. Exhale, let it go and soften your shoulders, soften your jaw, and unclench your stomach. Inhaling and exhaling just naturally in and out of your nose with no force and minimal effort. Notice how your body feels. Notice what happens when your energy returns back to you instead of constantly reaching outwards. You are allowed to rest, you are allowed to have boundaries, and you are allowed to exist without constantly proving your worth. Take one final deep breath in and slowly let it go. When you are ready, you can slowly blink open your eyes, taking in the space around you before coming back to the screen. If you would like to pause the video, take a minute to journal, you are more than welcome to do so now. I love you guys so much. Thank you for practicing with me today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Exhale, Mom.